Welcome back to 97.7 FM and to Cityscape. We have another great interview here in the studio. We are honored to have actor Kaleb Phoenix in the house. So welcome, Kaleb.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Now, you were originally from the Valley, right?
Yes, I was pretty much born. I was born in Edinburgh, but raised in Far. Pretty much my entire life. I still live in Far, so still what
And
is it?
then you
A
were
Far
in LA.
native.
You were in LA for a while.
I did go for a couple weeks and then a couple of months. A while back, when I first started off my journey as like an artist and then a musician and then like an actor. Um, I think I was about, I know 12 or 11. I picked up the guitar and then really like went into it. And then at 15, when I was a sophomore in high school with Idea Donna, I'm an idea kid, class of 2018. Um, my career started with when I was a sophomore. When he became my mentor, and then now he's like a really close friend of mine. His name is Adrian Armante, who is Esteban from the Sweet Love of Zach and Cody. He came down here with the celebrity experience, and they were looking for new talent. Keep in mind, I was only 15, 14, and I saw the, is it like a little ad or like a flyer, and I was like what's this, and like I've not that I've always wanted to become an actor, but from a little kid I was always fascinated with, for sure, Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage was like my all-time favorite. To this day, I can still, if you put the movie on mute, I can actually tell you what like words they're saying because I've watched it so much. Tom Hanks was another big actor that I really really like started liking a lot, mainly because of the Castaway. Um, so I've always wanted to be like an actor. It's just that at the time I didn't really know anything about it. I just knew, Sylvester Stallone's Rambo and Arnold's the Terminator,
Mhm.
and the way they play those characters. It's like, oh, I want to do that. I just never knew where to start or how to start until I met Adrian. So Adrian, met with me, basically discovered me. We went to LA. Jonathan Goldstein, which is the dad from Drake and Josh, he was my instructor. Gustavo from Big Time Rush was my instructor. Tanya, who plays in the show like Kelly, which is Gustavo's assistant, she was my instructor as well. Matt Timmons. I know Joey King was there, and really like it was just an overall like amazing experience for that 1 week because you learn a lot, and it's not just like, oh, here's the script, you're gonna read it, memorize it, perform. It's more like, here's the script. You had 6 months to really study it, break it down, get what get the feeling of it, and then go out and perform in front of these like agencies. So with me, that entire week, I was just learning like how to do a monologue, how to like if you're gonna go up and like to a agent, what to say, what not to say, and pretty much like just be yourself. Because something that I learned about this business is that like it's a very challenging business. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like any other career. It has its moments where it's challenging, but if you know how to talk with people, be professional around people, and really show them that, hey, like, I'm a nice guy, but I can also be very like serious on stuff, and you can actually like rely on me. It's gonna be beneficial, and so that's how that started. I got my first booking with McDonald's. That was
Cool.
my
That's awesome.
first commercial print. I remember I got it maybe like 2 or 3 months after I signed with an agency here in Texas, and my agent texted my dad saying like, "Hey, like Caleb's been booked for this project." So during school, I would go do the booking, and then I would come back. So pretty much like from maybe 2 or 3 months after I came back from LA, everything just started to change up for me, and it was cool. Like I made so many friends, so many memories, And then I just kept going at it.
That's fantastic. And so now some of the projects and some of the big projects you worked on here was Find Me, right? That's out
Mhm. On
on
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, and Treacherous Border,
Yep,
right?
Treacherous Border. El Llorón was
El
another one.
Llorón, yeah.
Yeah, like so with Find Me, how because for a while I did take a break because of like the pandemic and stuff. There really wasn't anything,
Yeah, everything
to do.
paused. Mm-hmm.
So I was just pretty much in the world of aviation, and that was pretty much my main source of income for a couple of years because, like I said, there was nothing that was open. You couldn't do anything, so it just basically became like a source of income. Um, but then when I got my first booking as a short film after not working for a couple of years, that was the Massacre of Halloween Night. I think that was like part 2. It's a short film. You can find it on YouTube. And from there, I met a bunch of other people too, directors, producers. Hugo's like one of the good directors that I've ever worked with. He's a good friend of mine. I think Baldomar was there too, and then a couple other people as well. And really, like when I got there on set, it felt really good to like do the whole audition process again because I did it in person versus just sending self tapes to my agent
Mm-hmm.
and then like that's it. I'm more of a I have to go in person and do it because I've been doing it for so long. Just you know, just
Videos,
videotaping it
yeah.
and then just sending it. I like the
The interaction.
nervous. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I like the nervousness. When
Yeah.
you walk in and you're like, like
the
okay,
energy.
okay, yeah, like that
Yeah.
type of like energy. And so with them, I did that. I got my first booking, and that was with the Massacre of Halloween Night. And then from there, I got introduced to I think it was like Brenda and Hugo, and then they pretty much like connected me to other people. And then I got offered the opportunity to work as a PA, as a production assistant on that film, and pretty much as an extra. And I remember we worked a lot. There's a lot of the behind the scenes that obviously not many people really get to know of. It's not just like, well, here's the camera, I got my actors, action. It's yeah, it's lighting, it's scenery, it's locations, it's like everything that goes to make a film. And I learned a lot because yeah, like I've been doing this for over 10 years too, and I still like picking up cables or moving like a light or something. I still like doing all of that too. So whenever I'm not on camera, I'm behind the camera. And with that film, I learned pretty much a lot just being like behind the camera. And that was a big like I guess like make it or break it type of moment because like I said, I started noticing I'm like, well, I think it's time for a career change. But I'm happy I didn't, and I'm happy I just said, well, I'm still gonna continue.
Yeah.
And then it's been good so far. So that was one of them.
Fantastic. Now I know Treasure's Border is in post production right now, right?
Yes.
Do you have an estimated date on when that one's going to come out?
I do not know yet, but I do know that the film's already done. They're just pretty much doing the like editing and stuff like that. I know it is gonna be out sometime this year. I don't know exactly when, but Churchill's was a very very big film that I got to be a part of only because of one.
Churchill.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a motion picture. I didn't know that. When I got offered the project 2 years ago, I went in, I played Coyote, and then we did the teaser trailer, and then I figured, oh, that's gonna be it. Like, okay, like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna get a call back or not, because I treated it as my audition instead of actually like being on there of like, okay, like, I'm a paid actor, I'm here, I'm working. I treated it more as an audition because for me, the way I guess I process stuff is more like I'd rather go in there not knowing that. Well, I'd rather go in there pretending that it's a make it or break it type of deal, because that's how you get the best performance. So for me, it just worked on me like that. So the entire time we were shooting the teaser trailer, I was just giving it everything that, I could, like the yelling, the emotions and everything, because I knew it was a teaser trailer. So I knew that's what they would use to send out to other people and, and make this motion picture. So instead of just going in there with, oh yeah, well, I'm an actor and this is, we're just doing another project or whatever, I just went in as the mentality of like, this is your audition. You already know what's going to happen if you do a very good job. And yeah, like I'm happy that Steve and like the cast and the crew like believed in me, where, I had to grow up my hair and my beard for that role, and it took me an entire year where I couldn't shave or do anything. So in the heat, you're just, you're just like this.
Yep.
And then, to get that phone call, I think it was like in September it was like September, August of last year, saying that, hey, congrats, you've been, selected. You're going to be working with these people. And I was like for real? He's like, yeah. And then they kept asking me, they're like, how's your hair? How's your beard? I'm like, good. And I would be sending them selfies. I'm like, I kind of look like I'm getting called Jesus now, or like, like Jason Momoa or something. But yeah, like it was an incredible experience. And then not only that, but aside from being an actor, I got to be the first assistant director. And this is my first one for a big motion picture like this that will be coming out in theaters nationwide and worldwide. So
fantastic.
It's gonna be fun. I'm telling you, there's gonna be a lot of action.
And that's Churchill.
That's Treacherous.
Okay, Treacherous.
Yeah, Treacherous.
Good deal. Yeah. Yep. Looking forward to that one. Any other projects that you have in mind on the back burner, or what's ahead in the next year or so for Kaleb?
Well, another big project that I got to be part of, it's I believe it's an indie. It's actually called El Llorón with Rodrigo. When I got brought onto that project, it was through, I believe it was Brenda.
Shot in Brownsville, right?
Yes, it was all shot in Brownsville. I was working with Mickey Summers, who's a big time producer and actress in Hollywood. Valente Rodriguez, who's one of my favorite actors, because I grew up with the George Lopez show. I grew up with that. And the next thing I know, I met Ernie or Valente at the South Texas Film Festival. Mm-hmm. I met him last year. And, like we knew of each other a little bit because we had each other friends. Like we still have each other like on social media and stuff. And then when I get the phone call saying like, hey, do you want to work on El Llorón? And I was like, yeah, like a job's a job, Mm-hmm. So I go and I see Valente and I'm like, Valente? He's like, hey, he's like, Kaleb? And I'm like, hey. And then my friend Elijah Rodriguez, we had mutual friends too. And one of them was Bobby Soto. And I didn't know that they were friends because I never met Bobby or anything. I mean, I've seen him on the big screen, right? But being with them like on set, I actually like didn't really know who he was. Because I'm more of like, I have to see your face to like recognize you in a way. So they kept saying, oh, Bobby's here. And I'm like, Bobby. I'm like, yeah. And I was like, which Bobby? And they're like, Bobby Soto. And I'm like, Bobby. Was like, all right, like, well, I'll see him on set. Like, he seems cool. And then, yeah, like he was super like, just down to earth. And then we ended up becoming good friends. And then Renee Victor, who, I didn't know she's done a lot. She's like a big time actress too. And then, she became her and Raquel became like so good to me, so like nice to me. And now they basically became family. And working on that set was amazing. And it really just brought that fire up again. Because, like, not that the fire was kind of like going down for me, but it was just like the seasons, as what actors call it, like your seasons, where you have seasons where you're constantly just boom, audition, work, audition. And then you have seasons where it's like one audition like every 4 months or, 5 months. And that's what was happening with me. Plus, I didn't have an agent because I got rid of my agency and I was going to go with somebody else. So it was just kind of like, well, like I don't really have nothing anymore. But now, thankfully, I'm with a new team. I'm with a new group, and because of that film, because of how everybody kept inspiring me to do more and more, they really changed everything up for me. So when I did Treacherous 2 months later, I used all of that energy and mentality to do that on set because we were playing very difficult roles to play, and it wasn't just like, oh yeah, like you're just gonna be this person and that's it. It's more like, no, the storyline is very, very like deep and dark, where in order for that film to really work, you have to really give it your best. Because if you just treat it as like, oh yeah, like I'm a coyote, I'm this guy, like you're just yelling at people, it's not really gonna sell. You have to like really engage with them, so that way when the audience sees it, it's like, oh dude, I hate that guy, like that like where you're connecting with the audience and they're feeling everything that you're giving out. And so we worked on it, and yeah, like because of El Lloron, I learned a lot. And working with Rodrigo, who's a good and amazing director, JC, who's a good cinematographer and everything, like it was overall really amazing experience. And I think it's because of that project where it just opened up a lot of doors for me now, especially, and then with Treacherous. So El Lloron was like, it's always going to be like a special place in my heart. Yeah.
Fantastic. Is El Lloron out already on
I do
platforms?
not know yet. I know it's already done. I haven't heard anything yet, but honestly, I'm just waiting for like the surprise, I guess, like when it comes out. Because I mean, I could ask and be like, hey, like, like, is it going to be out? Is it out yet? But I'm more of like, instead of just like messaging people or like calling people, I'm just going to wait for the big announcement when it's out. So that way for me, it's like, yes, like that exciting, feeling. So I don't know yet, but I know for sure it's going to be out soon. And it's a good story. I like it. It's a very, very good story.
That's fantastic. So I anything else you'd like to mention, or anything I might have forgotten to ask you before we wrap up?
Well, I mean, for those that want to be in this business, a good friend of mine, Elisha, said it earlier. He was actually here
in the studio. Shout out to
Elijah. Like what we're doing is not easy. It looks easy because either we're constantly posting about we're on set, we're doing this, or you see us like on on the big screens. But this industry is very hard. There's a lot of no's more than yeses. But as long as you can continue to take classes, learn, get a script, break it down, learn it, master it, you'll be succeeding. But if you're gonna do it for pride, if you're gonna do it for anything else, it's not really gonna work out. But if you want to do it, just keep at it. Don't let anybody tell you anything. At the end of the day, you're the only person that can stop yourself, not anybody else, regardless of what everybody else says. But if I can do it, you could do it.
I like that. That's a beautiful message. I always tell my students that, I tell them, you are your biggest enemy. Only you can really stop you from doing what you want to do, or what your goals are.
Yeah.
So thank you for making the time to come out here.
I do. This is fun.
It is, right. The doors are always open here. You're always welcome to come back and talk to our audience. Come hang out, and we wish you the best in all your endeavors.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, like, thank you so much. Like, this is cool.
I forgot to ask you, how can your fans catch you on social media?
You can add me on Instagram, which is just Kaleb, KALEB _official. My TikTok's the same. My Facebook's practically the same. You might get the one that says like Alanis on it, which is like my real last name. But for the most part, you can just follow my socials. That everything's pretty much Kaleb _official. But yeah, just follow me and see where else I'm up to.
That's right. Follow him and go check out the films out on. Once again, tell me where the films are at. What platforms can they catch?
Find me on Amazon Prime. Treacherous, El Llorón
coming up, right?
Will be coming out soon as well. Treacherous will be in theaters, and then like streaming and everything else. But yeah, you could check out my movie. And then the one on Massacre of Halloween Nights, a short film. It's on YouTube. You could find that one. Play a clown and a cop.
Well, once again, thank you for making the time to come out here into the studio and hang out. Thank you for bringing Elijah over here. Thank you for bringing him over to the film camp. Mm-hmm. And I want to, big shout out to Elijah and big shout out to you for coming out during film camp. It was a great surprise. It was the last day. We closed in style. It was the last day. I had no clue. Elijah was going to walk in. He walks in, and I walked up.
He called me, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm over here at film camp." "Oh, can I go?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, come."
Amazing, And I walked up to him and I said hello, and I'm like, "You look familiar. I've seen you from somewhere." And then it's like, "Yeah, Elijah Rodriguez, Sicario." I'm like, "Holy smoke, man! Thank you for coming out here with our kids."
Yeah, it's a small world. I mean, we connected through. I knew of him a while back through one of my old high school friends. Because I think she's like his second or third cousin. I don't see, right? But I just never really paid attention because I was like, I'm probably never gonna meet him. And then fast forward 5-6 years later, a mutual friend of ours that's a producer, she was telling me about him, and she's like, "Hey, remember the kid from Sicario?" I'm like, "Which one? The first one or the second one?" She goes, "The second one." I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude." I was like, "I like that one better." I was like, "What kid?" He goes, "Yeah, the kid that like shoots Benicio." I'm like, "Oh yeah, the one that's like all tatted." She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "He's here." I'm like, "What do you mean he's here?" She's like, "Yeah, no, like he's here in the valley." He's like, like go talk to him or something. So she connected us, and then I ran into him and I was like, "Hey, like you're Alyssa's friend?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Wait, aren't you Alyssa's friend?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then we basically connected. And then we vibed, and then now we're like literally like brothers.
Awesome,
like,
that's fantastic.
We're always like, "Hey, bro, like what you doing?" So it's cool. It's a family industry, I guess you can say.
Yeah. And so then these two young men walked in, and Elijah walked in on that Friday of closing out, and they spoke to the kids. They shared with them, and it was amazing. The feedback that we got from the kids, they were astounding. They had no clue that we were going to have celebrities coming in person, and making a visit and learning from them. And so we really appreciate you guys coming out here, sharing out of the kindness and goodness of their heart, to come out here and just sharing with the kids, with the next generation of filmmakers. That's
what we want to do. We, how Elijah was saying earlier, like that's what I see it too, because I didn't get those opportunities, and now literally there's productions everywhere, and I didn't have that. But now to bring our experience into it for other generations to come, like it feels good to give back to the community, because that's everybody has like different ways of giving back. But I think like with us, it's one of the good ways that we can give back, where we can change everything up here versus just LA, Houston, Austin here. It's like now you can actually make studios here and be producing films and doing this, and so I'm glad that I guess I can say we're starting like a movement. Yeah. Because we've been getting a lot of feedback, and again, we've been working a lot, meeting with other people and having meetings and stuff like that with other projects down here that they want to do with us. So I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to what's gonna come.
I'm excited as well, and so we look forward to many more projects coming out from you, and we look forward to seeing you on the silver screen. Wishing you the best in all your endeavors.
Thank you so much. But this is 97.7 FM KCYP.
That's right. Keep watching, keep listening.
So did it.